what is going to go down. There's going to be a best-of-3 series, and it is going to be best-of-3 into the second round, which is actually best-of-5, because the second round is a qualifying match. Then we'll drop down to the lower bracket, where there's going to be probably one more best-of-3 for us to catch, then best-of-5 qualifying, and then there's actually one final match, essentially, of the day as well. So TLDR, there's a lot of StarCraft coming on up. Top left, our red Protoss player here. It is ShoWTimE, our red Protoss. As in the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player representing the Shopify Rebellion, of course, is Scarlett. Seriously, guys, I'm still a little bit sick. Been here the last good day or so. You probably know this already. So like I say, we'll just do what we can. If I go quiet all of a sudden, it's likely just because I'm clearing my throat or something. Or something to that effect. Just gonna have our probe coming back down towards the bottom right. Gate coming up, a simulator on the way, a couple drones and a hatchery all coming through as well. As that probe moves into the main base. Again, good little scout of what's going on in these early stages. There's a spawning pool going down too, so just gonna get that into play immediately. 7 players qualify today, guys. That's 7 players out of today's qualifier. Obviously, the lineup includes players such as Clem, Raynor trying to book their places into Katowice. The kind of players we expect to be there, but there are, for the most part, only 2 lives. If you lose out in a qualifying match in the lower bracket, you get 1 more chance as well, but we'll see who makes it, we'll see who doesn't. There's going to be just one very unfortunate player that came so far and just didn't quite make it at the end of today. Of course, there are American server qualifiers tomorrow, which is pretty reasonable to qualify through as a European, ping-wise, although you still have to play through the dead of night, so we'll see who makes it over the couple of over the weekend. Let's just have our cybercore coming up. Our Nexus continues through. And again, a couple queens, couple lings, all continuing out for a few moments. As our probe continues around here on the front, again, ling speed is already starting. Our Nexus is on the way. Our depth's over halfway done. Those few drones still transferring across between the bases, just going from one direction to the other. And the probe scout's back up in the natural. ShoWTimE just trying to make sure he knows exactly what's going on at any point in time right now. The depth still being chrono boosted early on as well on the side of ShoWTimE. So just getting that up and running. Warp gate coming through. Stargate's about halfway done. And that link speed about halfway done for the moment. Warp gate's still coming through. The couple of lings and a queen over there. Just gonna stop the adept from committing to a shade. ShoWTimE has been playing good StarCraft lately. Honestly, ShoWTimE SASE2 has been looking very good. I mean, Scarlett can be a dangerous opponent, though. It's actually a really cool matchup. Scarlett ShoWTimE is, for me, like, you know, 2 really top-end players of their respective regions that are maybe not always in, like, the super front-running at the bigger events, but you know they can really take on anyone at any kind of given time. I was actually interested just how many times these guys have played each other, because like I say, it's not a super common matchup to see. As 2 drones go down here, these adepts strike, and they strike nicely. In for 2 drones, the few lings finally chasing them down. They've only ever played 5 times. The first back in 2018, twice in 2019, and this is their first meeting since 2021. Played in ESL Open Cup Americas a couple times in 2021 in June, back-to-back weeks. They have not played each other a lot. I mean, you know, ShoWTimE plays in online events. He doesn't play in all of them, but he plays in a good few. Scarlett plays in a couple, but not a lot, right? And they just haven't met each other that much. So it's kind of wild. The only ever kind of bigger meeting is WCS Summer, round 16. ShoWTimE got a 3-0 there. That was in 2019. That's kind of crazy. That is actually kind of crazy. Damn. They did play in Katowice one time as well in the open bracket, so yeah, that is that is really wild that these 2 have played so little, and yet they've both been such a big part of the StarCraft tune scene for so many years. So it makes this a really cool matchup. Like I say, not one you get every day. 2 very different styles. I'd say Scarlett, she plays a mean late game, but she really loves her timing. She really loves her aggression. She really loves trying to be the, you know, the one to initiate. We know ShoWTimE loves being the defender. We know he loves playing the long games as well, so And get this up and get this on the go. The Oracle going to patrol around and just going to be seeing a couple of Adepts getting warped in there out on the third base. Get that Revelation. Ling's going to run up. The Adepts will be fully surrounded. Oracles will be helping to clean up. Obviously, just protect the Adepts. One Adept gets through. Any Lings you can pick off there at least is something. And sometimes you just gotta take what you can get in those kind of scenarios, which was more or less the situation there. Those two Adepts, they shade through. Gonna get a couple drones pretty much immediately. Again, good play from ShoWTimE so far, keeping up that pressure, keeping up these shades, just nabbing a couple workers here and there. Now, it's not free, it is costing you some Adepts, but we're now caught about 7 Adepts with 10 drones and 17 Lings. I like it, the fact it's killing off some drones especially. Trial Council's halfway done, the gateway is still coming up. Oh, Immortal. Reducing as well as a few Lings head towards the upper left-hand side of the map, so they are just going to try and run in and see if there's any opportunity for them to get something done over on this side. Lings will grab another probe, and now these Oracles going to try and get through for a couple of those drones as well, so they try and find some damage here in these early stages. Again, 5 more drones going down. This is really adding up. This is really getting to the point where ShoWTimE is going to be extremely happy with how things have gone. Things get in there. The Sentry going to help to push things back for a few moments, though. Seeing that melee upgrade still coming through with the Rotron about to finish. More Lings on the way. The Queen and a couple drones on the way. Just seeing that Temple Archives and a few more gateways continuing to produce. Charge. Also just about halfway done as well, so you can see ShoWTimE's transition coming through nicely. That charge first style is becoming more and more popular. And you're going to see it right here from ShoWTimE as these Oracles activate, going after this hatchery. Just trying to find a little cheeky bit of damage. Once more. So thank you, MW Alamu. How you doing? So much for the 9-month resub on the Prime. The WardiTV tree is up, guys. We will be adding people to the tree throughout the day, so thanks so much. We'll get you added up after the game. Thank you so much for priming us up. Thanks for using your prime on the channel. As you do see, roach speed +2 melee. Plenty more roaches and a few overlords also on the way out currently, so just getting a lot of that on the way so far. Again, I like where ShoWTimE's at. He's played himself into a nice, fun mid-game where you've done a bit of damage, you've controlled the game, you're going to play yourself into now this stage where you're going to have Storm, you're going to have Charge. You're really set up nicely from here on out. So you end up in a pretty good position. As you see our Zerglings just sitting out in the front. The Zealots will come charging forward. And a few more of those Lings will go down. So just coming through. A couple of those Creep Tumors getting picked off as well. More Roach, Ravager back around into the center. Still trying to see what's going on. Again, that Storm, that +2 all coming up. The extra gates coming in. The Prism is about to finish. The Cannon on the way as well on the side of ShoWTimE. Thing that's about to finish up. The Hive about to be done. +2 melee upgrade coming up from Scarlett as well. So just getting that +2 melee now on the way through. That Baneling speed is also just beginning. Stasis Sword just out the front, chilling out for the moment. Spineclaw on the way. The extra Overlords coming by. So a lot of that continues to build on through. The Scarlett, at least on Hive Tech, may be able to reach something here, but what are you going to go into? A couple of Vipers. There's not really anything Vipers do here just yet. I was trying to think about what you would use Vipers for, and I'm like, well, I mean, Vipers are never bad, like Parasitic Bombs, etc., but I don't feel like we're screaming and shouting for Vipers right now. I don't feel like that's something we're in like super desperate need of, for example. There's a Corrosive Power will knock down a Stasis Sword out the front. A couple cannons and a few Zealots still all continue in. Blink on the follow-up from ShoWTimE. The other thing I want to mention from Scarlett, she's on her way to the Ultras. Also a fairly fun little something, you know, mixes up well with the melee upgrades that we've got going on. You can actually do pretty well against charge lock compositions, so maybe there really is something to be seen there over these first few minutes as we do see the Zealots charging in. They're just going to go after a few of those drones already and just go for some damage. So a few drones already beginning to go down. Damage being dealt from the very get-go. These Zealots going to wrap around a Spinecrawler. And the Banes crash in to clean out a few more Zealots over on this right-hand side as well. These Zealots still taking damage. Spine Crawler has now gone down. Roach Ravager Queen will stand and fight against those Zealots too. Getting as much done as we possibly can at the moment. Just all about playing the cleanup game at the moment. Chitinous Plane also coming up with the Adrenal Glands and the Carapace upgrade. And 6 more Spines. Everything being brought in. Scarlett really ready to play a longer game. Save herself from run-bys. The creep spread is amazing. ShoWTimE's actually very good at denying creep. I don't know if you've noticed this about ShoWTimE's PvZ, but he's really one of the players who's so active out on the map with, like, you know, with Revelations and a few Adepts and so on. But Scarlett's creep this game is all over the place. She is in absolute dominant fashion right now in this setup. Still got a few more Spines coming up. The Ultras and the Lings all continuing to produce. +3 melee, +3 melee, Chitinous Plane coming through. A blink about to finish up as well as that +3 attack upgrade also on the way. +1 air weapons also on the way. What's up, Hell Zerglin? How you doing, mate? So good to see you. Thank you so much for the 81 years of glorious baubles. Thank you so much for subscribing once again. Another year on the tree. Thank you so much. Storm after storm has been amazing so far as well by ShoWTimE. He is landing every single one of those at the moment, just continuing to deliver. When it comes to that, it's obviously awesome to see. And probably necessary as these Zerg armies become a little bit larger in size and everything. Storms are going to be needed to soften things up and to make these Zerg armies engageable for Protoss Force. The Spines combined with the Roach Ravager there will do well to push back, deny, and defend. Again, that's why Scarlett builds the Spines as well, to give her a much more stable game that she can play out of. From this point forward, Archons and Immortals just clearing up a little bit more creep spread, just coming through for that little extra. Should be fairly content with where we go from here. From this point on. Those Lings still caught up in that stasis. 2 cannons are still nearby, ready to activate. The Roach Ravager will go for a few more Zealots as well. Again, just trying to find as much as we can as the Lings still caught in a stasis for a few moments here. Just going to pop out. ShoWTimE can clean those up. Mothership is out as well. Mothership, which has been a lot more effective as of late. It's definitely a unit which has been kind of seen more and more. Definitely becoming more utilized. Nice to see that Mothership, a new version of the Mothership, to kind of, you know, people are figuring it out. Here's a time warp to try and buy some time as we eat a bunch of Corrosive Files. This might be the end of the Mothership as the Parasite Bomb goes on it. Quite frankly, ShoWTimE just didn't have enough units over here. He was not ready for this size of an attack to arrive on the upper right. And so he gets caught a little off guard, and he gets hit a little hard in the face because of that. Reducing his Spines again, defending, but slowly being cleared out. So these Zealots will start to have access on the bottom. That is going to make it more difficult for Scarlett to justify large groups of units moving around as a cluster, all in one, like that group she just attacked with in the upper right. So she's going to have to stop and consider there how exactly she'll continue her defense. Still just got a hatch on the other side. Still just got ourselves Corruptors, Banes, Greater Spire continuing through. As the Stasis Ward catches a few more of those Ravagers, Zealots are going to begin to go straight in toward those Queens. So again, just trading out. ShoWTimE consistently finding ways to deal some damage. Prism is low in the corner, but we'll try and stick around. We'll try and see with a little bit of life for itself. Ultra will get shot down now as well. Thank you, Cromwell, by the way. 32-month resub on the Prime. And also Claybones, how you doing? Thank you so much for 47 months, almost 4 years of support. Thank you for being amazing. Appreciate it. Ultra still pushing through and just trying to go for, obviously, as much as they possibly can here, trying to break into this position. ShoWTimE, you have to give him a little bit of space. I'm still worried about just how much control the map Scarlett has. She has so much gas, she has so many minerals. Scarlett is really just set up to be rich for days at this point, and I'm not sure what ShoWTimE's play is to kind of stop that from being a factor. And he's still running Zealots by, but they're just so slow because they have to go through the Spines every time. Scarlett's rich enough to just replace those again and again. I mean, maybe ShoWTimE needs to make a bigger play with more of his army, but that's likely to happen on creep. Near stack defense, and now going up against Broodlords as well. It's not like it's getting any prettier here for ShoWTimE in these next few moments, so I'm not really sure. Like, his army may just need to go up towards, you know, Tempest or so, especially with Broodlords on the way out, and it might just be time to start playing this into the super late game. But again, I'm not sure if the position to start off with is necessarily one that you absolutely love as ShoWTimE to then enter the late game with. The recall to the top, Immortals and Archons will fight against these Ultras. There's a lot of them across top side. The couple on the bottom side of the Nexus, unfortunately, will be a pretty dismal end very swiftly. Some Zealots on the other side, and that's a cleanup. The 13 probes went down, and again, the income for Scarlett is going to be through the roof with so many bases. I mean, actually, maybe not so crazy because she's only on 72 drones. Yeah, so maybe her income isn't that wild. What's the resources lost like at this point? A little bit favorable to Scarlett, so she's finding the efficiency. So she's actually finding very good fights for herself, which in itself is kind of a statement when you're playing in PvZ. So that's kind of cool as well. One hell of a game as Archons continue to be morphed in. ShoWTimE sitting across his 5 bases at the moment, looking pretty comfortable across the board there. See what his next step may still be. Let's just have the lanes running in once more. A couple of cannons getting knocked down immediately. Parasitic Bomb on one of these Oracles already. Going to be a big factor as you still have Archon and Immortal hanging around. Oracle overhead just activating onto the Ravagers for a few moments too. 6 more probes went down, but I mean, ShoWTimE still has a worker lead in the game. He's doing a good job of replacing what he's losing pretty much throughout, so doing a very good job in that regard. Storms, a lot of those lings getting tapped down pretty much straight away. Water just continues to push across the other side, so really getting pretty darn aggressive down in this direction. Really making a play out over here. The Immortal just wants to try and knock down some of these spines and just open up this area in general would be nice. Thank you, Speed Racer 1914. 44 months resubscribing. Lots of big resubs today, huh? Well, this is working. You know, Scarlett is losing some control of the map, especially her bases are being knocked down step by step at the moment. I guess it's going to come at a cost for ShoWTimE. He will recall the Immortal Archon, and he gets a decent amount. Like 3 Immortals and 1 Archon escape that cluster. Now the Tempest on the way. I did mention, I think at some point we're just going to need to play the Tempest against those Broods. ShoWTimE's definitely feeling the same. He can obviously play a pretty defensive set of Tempest at this point onwards, so that's exactly what he's going to do. As Ultra Infestor gets back down to the center. Excuse me. Ultra still up the left. They can activate the Stasis Wards without getting caught, although they get caught because the Lings are blocking their escape. Okay, we don't lose an Ultra because of it, but they very nearly did go down. That would have been a little bit dramatic, wouldn't it? Parasite Bomb should guarantee a kill on that upper left Oracle. Oracle. Is that enough to kill the Oracle? No. Not just enough HP on it to begin with. What do we do at this point? I mean, like I say, from ShoWTimE, very happy to see the Tempest. I think Scarlett's correct out a couple when Festus out, still setting up spines, still playing this big game across the map at the moment. Ultras move up, Nexus will die, not a cancel, just a death. It's nice, of course. But the Brood still moving out, a couple more spine crawls being built up as well. So got that +2 fly carapace on the way in. A little abduct and the Oracle will go down. More Tempest, the Mothership, the Archons moving around the sides. Yeah, the Spine's just going to set up +3 flyer attacks on the way. We do have a +2 flyer carapace coming up as well. The air upgrades obviously becoming a big part of this game on the side of Scarlett. Also for ShoWTimE, +2 air armor is on the way as well. So we really are just entering those deep stages. Said Scarlett plays a pretty mean late game, and she's definitely pretty serious about that right now. This late game absolutely getting to its little setup. Couple more Corruptors, couple more Spines. We do have Archon, Tempest, Mothership moving forward a little bit. There's a changeling that will go down pretty much immediately, so that's a nice little grab to get rid of that easily. As the Oracle drops down that Revelation, so a few of those Broods are going to get caught up in that as well. Still going to come in again with Archon and Tempest to just go after those spores a couple of seconds, try and dish out a little bit more pain already. And just stand and fight, going back and forth. Tempest obviously able to fight from a distance. That's what's so good about them, being able to just hit back away, never really taking damage during these moments adds up in your favor. And at this point, it's how you find some of the efficiency you kind of need as a Protoss player once again. Against a Zerg that's likely going to be up a base or so in the late stages, unless you can really conquer the entirety of the map, which is not exactly easily done. Well, he's so smart picking the Scarlett games, because he knows you won't have to look for another match for 2 hours. I mean, kind of true, but I actually didn't pick it with that in mind. It just really felt as though this is going to be... I saw the other matches that had already been picked by casters that voiced what they were taking, but I just thought this would be a fun one. Like I say, these guys have only played 5 times in their history, which are 2 players as, you know, with as much status in StarCraft 2 as ShoWTimE and Scarlett is a pretty ridiculous stat line. Obviously, in just different regions, really has an impact on that, especially the last few years. But more Corruptors continue to come through. Excuse me, guys. Archon Tempest continues to come about. We do have our +3 armor on the way, +3 air armor on the way. Tectonic Destabilize is also coming through. A couple of shots come out. Congo Growth will land on a few of those Archons. There's one Archon going down immediately. The second being chased, and there it is, killed off by those Broodlings dropping into play. Nicely done. A couple more Broodlings picked off as we go. Again, this is all about finding the fight right now. Scarlett, she's happy to sit here. She's happy to let the Tempest pick away a stack defense, etc. I wonder if she could be doing more on this left side of the map. There's not a lot going on over here, but then ShoWTimE only has like a few minerals left to mine there. So is it worth Scarlett working through that position? It might be for one simple reason, and that simple reason being if she works on that left base, it's going to be more difficult for ShoWTimE to take a bottom left base. Right? So it might just be worth denying that left base now just to make that next step a much more of a reach from ShoWTimE. Could have an impact a bit further down the line. Otherwise, ShoWTimE is playing nicely off of his central base here and being able to push towards this base on the right-hand side. Going a very long way for him as the Storm lands on a couple of Broodlords and will be able to put out a lot of damage. And another Storm is still coming in, drops the Time Orb, knew the Mothership was about to get abducted there, so that's a good call. Chases as much as you can for the moment. Is at least coming back through, though. It is interesting because a lot of ShoWTimE's ground army is kind of lower tech, but then it's kind of needed because there's still so many ultras available, so it kind of puts you in this weird position where, in a way, ShoWTimE wants to trade out these units, but in a way, they're actually still necessary. Okay, like it's a weird in-between from what you usually have, which is a very much kind of definite, oh yeah, I don't need these anymore, no, I really, really want those, you know? So it's going to come charging in. He's going to go straight through for the base here, which is not protected by spines, so one of the rare times you're going to see that in this series because Scarlett has been so good at getting the spines there. In fact, here they come. So this base will go down, and ShoWTimE is now expanding further down the left, and like I say, maybe it would have been nice for Scarlett to do something about that a little earlier. I love the quickness to drop that recall. The moment he realizes, crap, I've been caught by a fungal, he's out of there. He's checking out of the situation. He does not want to stick around and find out more. Oh, Baal's coming through. Sorry, I need to cough for a second. Smart guy Wardy picking Scarlett ShoWTimE when he has a bad voice and isn't going to have a break for half an hour, apparently. 17 probes just went down, but ShoWTimE's replacing that with carriers. He's got a bank. I think ShoWTimE's playing this correctly. I think giving up workers right now is fine, and just replacing it with army. His bank is good. He doesn't really have anywhere else to send those workers just yet, and by the time he does have a base, he probably doesn't want to overcommit into it, right? There's a line to be walked on that one. So we'll find the hatchery over on that far right-hand side as well. It's just going to knock that down as we go. There's another hatch just going to get put in its place, but again, the harassment from ShoWTimE has been good. It's been consistent. It might not have been like the biggest bang in the world. It might not have been like, wow, look at this. Oh my god, bases dying everywhere. It was much slower and kind of growing into like real kind of meaningful damage, but boy, is it absolutely getting there right now. It is absolutely starting to get there right now, which is very cool to see. Tempest firing up. A little bit of a storm. Ultras, Veins, Overseers. Moving up a little bit. Here comes the recall in of Tempest and Carriers. They are going to stand up. They are going to fight for a little bit. Chasing a Queen away, chasing an Overseer away as well. So all of that getting pushed back for a few moments. Job well done there. Tempest continue to bring in quite a lot of power. Going back into the center, going to knock down the Queen as we go. A few more drones still on the way out. Corruptor's still coming through as well. It's just all of that later game being built. We recall. Well, that means a couple of these carriers we're not caught in that recall. Whoa, that was a weird recall, just off to the sides. Still a couple of units got abducted, and obviously they kind of just get shot down as they go. I guess it probably saved him a couple of units still. Ultras crash in, cannons and batteries. They're going to be chomped through by these Ultras, my goodness. They are going nom 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 nom, eating up a little bit of everything right there, having a great time of it. Ultra is going to get stasis, stormed one more time, so again, just eating up some damage, not really much they can do about it. Got more Tempest shots, the Immortals as well, and Scarlett cannot break through on that left side. Where are we at? 40k to 34k resources lost. Scarlett's played a more efficient game, which is really saying a lot about how she's been able to approach this late game. It's very cool to see. Results continue around in that bottom right-hand side. Maybe a hatchery here that gets picked off as well. Immortals, Carriers, Tempest continue to come through. Those Corruptors continue to get picked away at as well. Those three Flyer Carapace continue to come up. We're just going to be seeing our Ultras, our Banes continuing by, just the Lings as well into this base. Batteries are going to take a beating. I mean, this is where Scarlett's definitely finding a bit of momentum. It is interesting though, because Scarlett's army is still not great, right? Like, her army is still a lot of these Ultras, etc., which is great for moves like this, but not great in the long term. How am I going to, like, clean this game up? Which means that in a way, you still want to trade out these Ultras too. Scarlett working on that upper right base. That will not last long. The fight and the duel and the tug of war over the top right two bases and the bottom left two bases is going to be a magnificent one to watch, because that's really going to decide this game. This game is going to come down to these final four bases, top right and bottom left. And so far, ShoWTimE is winning there. He's consistently denying Scarlett from having those bases, whereas ShoWTimE's base that got set up bottom left side is being able to get up, and it's just mining. And very soon, this is going to become a bigger issue for Scarlett. Well, it's interesting because the top right base of ShoWTimE right now allows him to more easily attack the top right base as Scarlett wants. As he mines that out and maybe focuses more bottom left, it may give Scarlett more access to those upper right bases. At the same time, Scarlett's trying to mine out her bottom left forward base before that becomes an issue, before ShoWTimE shifts so much of his attention down there that that base becomes unmineable. It's a really interesting dance that we're having as that Nexus just survives. We zone away the Broods just in the nick of time. And for the moment, that base lived, and now it doesn't. As you see, Banes and Ultras come on through, a couple of cannons to support. Again, so many recalls, because we have the Mothership recall and the Nexus recall, and we're using those to maneuver nicely. Like I say, I wonder if this is the moment where Scarlett should now be expanding top right. This is the moment you take those bases, because ShoWTimE has less presence, towards those bases than he's had previously. Best of Corrupt is still coming through. Thank you, Silly Therese. How you doing? 38-month resub. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the resub. Appreciate it. Being smashed through, some Zealots going down. This one by gets shut down, like we say. This is going to be the base that Scarlett now wants to try and stick her hands to. Make sure she gets a hold of it and find out as much of it as she can, ASAP, preferably. And more Bane's coming about, Tempest Carrier pushing around to the top side. A few more cannons still being brought straight into play right here. So just getting those up, getting those running. The Broodlords continue to move around as well. Excuse me, guys. So again, if I ever just go quiet, I'm probably just coughing my life out. ShoWTimE can't retake this base. There was some gas left there as well. Maybe makes it an interesting base for him to try and retake, but I don't know how you justify really making a move on that right now. Immortal Zealot High Templar makes its way around with this. The few spine crawlers are going to go poking away. Those Zealots will continue to take some damage. The walls are going to pack a bit of a punch as well. Storm after Storm looking beautiful at the moment too. Love that. As the Infestors are going to drop some Neural Parasites. These Immortals are going to fight back against the other Immortals. Loving the Neurals. Scarlett will start to lose these Infestors now. The cloaking allowing these units to stick around a little while. And this is the issue I have. Scarlett is yet to mine this base herself. And actually, ShoWTimE is denying the top right at the same time. He's in two different places and denying on both fronts. It's the dream right now, right? It's the absolute dream of a situation. 51k resources lost to 48k. Scarlett has still been the more efficient player overall. Stalkers blink forward. They want the Broodlords. It's a wild play. Blinding Cloud's going to protect the Broodlords as well. That means that we can't really do too much else with those Stalkers. I mean, they're still here, though. Somehow the Broodlords did not get rid of them. And the Broodlords will push and fight until the bitter end. Somehow, someway, this was a good blink, which actually killed multiple Broodlords. I have no idea how. Scarlet's supply plummeting. Only 86 workers left in the game. She has a little bit of money left, but it's mostly all going into Corruptors, which she might wipe out this air army, but then Stalkers on the ground are going to absolutely love their life. I mean, what, you morph in 10 more Broodlords? We just saw Stalkers kill those off. Okay, it's going to be 9. Same idea. I don't think it's going to be enough. Scarlett doesn't have bases left. Immortals, Stalkers, and Zealots as ShoWTimE makes some game-defining plays in the bottom left corner. I mean, what a game. What an opening map for the day in the Katowice EU server qualifiers. As I think, yeah. As we do just have ourselves the game, I think, decided at this point. I don't see how Scarlett now wins the fight. If ShoWTimE took out the last set of Broods, I don't see how he fails to take out this set of Broods, you know? Taking another base bottom left-hand side, access to these locations are really becoming, like you say, the game-deciding thing. So the game has really come down to just ShoWTimE, I think, having that bottom left base. You mentioned the base there was going to be important, or those bases in general were going to be the ones that set the winner of this game, and I think that really has been what allowed ShoWTimE to just stick around that little extra, plus some fantastic fights just continuing to come around on repeat. Time and time again, ShoWTimE has never given up. GG, ShoWTimE takes game number 1 of this best of 3. This is going to be our red Protoss player. It is ShoWTimE. Taking on the Rebellions, Blue Zerg in the bottom right. Scarlett. Is the mic weird? Oh, that's my voice just died in the middle of at the end of the game. I'm a little bit sick. After home story. Fortunately, I haven't caught COVID, as I know some people did, but I was sick the day I got to home story. It just got a little bit worse working the event and coming home, trying to still stream a bit because I want to get my stream back on track is not exactly helping out too much. Alchemicalist, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 37-month resub. Let me get you on the tree, or get you ready to go on the tree. Oceanborn for the second game could, potentially give us something fairly similar, This is a larger map that can absolutely go to longer games. Does Scarlett want to go there again? Because I honestly thought the start was pretty good for Scarlett, you know? That would be my only real comment, that it felt like the start was good for Scarlett, so to then not be able to close it out from there, do you really want to approach a similar game a second time? Obviously, sometimes yes, because you just know what your mistakes were, you know what adjustments you want to make, right? So in that case, you're very happy to try it out a second time over. ShoWTimE's too good when he doesn't forget to take the closest base to his natural. Yeah, that was a heartbreak of a game, wasn't it? Damn. That was rough. That was rough. Alright, my voice is also pretty rough. Second stream of the day. It might not hold out for all too long, guys. We will do everything that we can, though, to try and make it hold out. There's only so much I can do with that regard. We'll do our absolute best to cast these games for you guys. We're going to fire up a death. We'll start to take a little bit of damage just in the early stages, so a little bit of action right there. There's our link speed coming into play. The Adept on the way. Now the Boogie on the way. The Oracle on the way. Just gonna see these couple of Adepts continuing after a couple of Lings. Speed is about to finish. I'm a super spreader. How can I be the super spreader if I don't have COVID? Question mark. I don't have it, so I gave it to everyone else. 200 IQ. Yo, William Dearborn, thank you so much. 10-month resub, welcome back. Get better soon, Woody. Thank you so much for the kind words, mate. Hope you're doing well. Oh, the sounds of me opening decorations for the tree in the background. Let me multitask. Thank you so much for the 10 months, mate. Appreciate it. We'll get you guys tree after this game, as we just have ourselves the Oracle coming back around. There's a couple of drones have gone down. Oracle still going to be just backing it up for a few moments. There's a couple of Oracles hanging around on that right side at the moment. Steps coming over. Just going to make a little bit of a push through. Just going to see that Revelation going down. About to show up. Just going to see a couple of drones already being dropped. Now these Adepts continue over. The Lings are going to wrap around for a few moments as well. Seems to be that for the moment. Six drones killed early, though. Definitely a very strong start. I mean, ShoWTimE had a good start last game, but it wasn't this good, so this is even better. We'll see what he can do as he continues to power up from there. Melee upgrade, drones, lair upgrade. All coming through. The +1 attack and the blink on the way. The few extra probes coming out for the moment. Those Lings going to turn it back around to the top side. Got the extractors coming through, the creep tumors coming in as well. Crawler about to finish, and again, +1 and blink still just building in for the moment. And all of this on the go. As you can see, the Oracle's going to activate. A few drones already going down, so a bit of damage being dealt on that. And the +1 and the blink continue through for the moment. And the Temple Archives just going to start up as well. Extra gates all on the way. With this continuing on by. The Temple Archives, I mean, first of all, Blink instead of Charge is already a different style from ShoWTimE. Maybe a bit more aggression from him, but he's not going to be too far off the Temple Archives. He's going to be quick to tech beyond these Stalkers, so he's definitely got a longer game kind of plan in mind. More links, continue through. Just going to be seeing our Robo Facility coming up, the Temple Archives coming in. Oracle will just activate and again try and find a little bit of damage for a few moments. Nothing too crazy just yet overall. As they do have a Hydra Den over halfway done, the Infestation Pit over halfway done. Plus one missiles also starting up on the Zerg side of the map. And a few drones continuing into play as well, so all of that just continues up for the moment. Where do we go from here? Obviously with the Infestation Pit finishing quickly from Scarlett. Money in the bank. Is she about to play Swarm Hosts? No, she's about to play a Lurker Den and the Hive Bolt. I was gonna say, like, there was just so much money ready to go. I was like, what are we doing, Scarlett? Like, where are we about to go? Like, Swarm Host would have been a wild choice, especially against these Blink Stalkers, I feel like. Lurker Den and the Hive, I guess, makes sense to just have our Oracles and the Stalkers back around into the center. Coming to the front, we will knock down a couple creep tumors pretty quickly. Storm +2. Continue now. The Immortal on the way. Robo Facility coming up. Battery Cannon. All the good stuff continuing in for the moment as those few Stalkers get back around to the top side of the map. Just for the moment. Yeah, Temple coming in as well. There is that Lurker Den. Continuing by. The Hive still coming up. And the Stalkers is going to get rid of a couple of creep tumors. So again, trying to find whatever they can. Put some damage out. Waiting for that Storm to finish his ShoWTimE. Already building double Immortal, so he's going to be pretty well set against Lurkers. Something we didn't see Scarlett use at all last game. Going to mix it up this game, but like I say, I like what ShoWTimE has. He's got Immortal production coming through, so you can chunk at those Lurkers. The Storm to soften them up and make each and every one of those fights a little bit more engageable from the very get-go. Scarlett's once again prepping the Spine Crawlers as well, ready for ShoWTimE to try and hit with run-bys around the edges. ShoWTimE is more confident to be aggressive. I wonder if that's just the damage he did early. Looking to try and get across here and try and find something extra right now. As our Stalkers come through, a couple of those creep tumors will continue to go down. The Zealots are still after a few different bits and bobs at the moment. So again, just working on everything that we can get. Extra Hydra's coming up. The Seismic Spine's over halfway done. The Lings try and run it at the front. They will not get anywhere. Warpin is good defensively. A cannon coming online too. Is going to be surrounded by Lings. Going to get chipped away at. Also, a few of these units just caught by Zerglings at the moment, so that's definitely going to be a factor. A lot of Lings going down, all pushed back into the middle of the map. I mean, it kind of felt like Scar was maybe catching some units there, but in the end, I'm not sure if it wasn't really ShoWTimE catching those Lings, because Scarlett dropped a lot of supply, and when you really look at what she got out of it, it was not that impressive, honestly. I'm just defending everywhere, just making sure these units get no access. 4 bases, very safely kept at the moment. He did start his run-bys, although right now Scarlett deals with those nicely. And this game absolutely starts to look as though we're heading into a nice little macro game. Very similar, very akin to what we saw in that previous map as well, perhaps. If I just don't see what anyone does to really push into the other right now, I guess. Especially because Scarlett's so well defended against the Zealots. And because their creep spread is so good. Those aspects of this definitely go a long way to helping out. Red is coming up, Spy is halfway done. Again, these Zealots, I mean, over time, again, what I said last game was that ShoWTimE, you know, none of these run-bys were flashy. None of them were like, you know, alarm signs ringing, this is where the damage will be done. None of it was like that. Slowly but surely, they just picked their way through to getting a good amount done. As now units move back around the left-hand side, gonna go after a set of rocks over here. Mortals and the Archon just gonna chase after that Hydra as well, and Showtime's still being pretty aggro, but again, as long as Scarlett repositions those lurkers, I find it difficult to imagine Showtime successfully moving into any of these positions realistically. I think that's going to be part of the problem he keeps running into throughout the course of this. Lurkers, Hydras, and there's that Great Aspire also on the way up now, so just continue to bring that through. A little bit of a stasis ward catching some of those lurkers. You see the creep spread pushing forward as well. Those 3 missiles on the way up that Great Aspire. So just trickling along. Lurker's going to burrow there. There's the first Archon getting absolutely blasted. Taken down in a moment, and now just going to keep pushing through. The couple of probes will take some hits as well. More storms. And again, just lings plus 3 missiles. Again, continue to get stood up where it can. It's a much nicer fight from a Showtime that is Scarlett. I mean, the only good thing for Scarlett is the lings have the immortals in the top left. All the lurkers go down, however, and that's going to be pretty nasty as 3 new carriers continuing on into play. Showtime replacing his army with a better version of his army. And most importantly, that wasn't like, oh, I lost everything, let's build carriers, and now I have nothing to defend. He has plenty to hold, and that's just one very well-placed storm to start us off there as well. Hydras and lurkers continue out. Plus 3 missile upgrade coming through also. Oh my goodness, those are some storms, holy crap. 19 kills on one of those template, 26 on the other. Holy crap. That was disgusting. So let's move forward there, gonna get a little wrap around on some lurkers here. And as the Queens will fight back, the Observer is not gonna go down just yet, actually survives for the moment. $50 new lings, 7 new corruptors. Plus 2 air weapons as well. Showtime really powering into these later stages of the game. Those carriers all getting activated. Let's continue to fire a couple more shots going out. We are going to see those interceptors able to take out the hatchery, so the hatch will fall. There is one carrier that will go down, however, so there was a cost for this. The lurkers trying to make a play down the left. However, as you can see, a bunch of them getting caught in stasis immediately, because they can't necessarily get very far. These oracles just hanging out overhead. That's actually a big loss if you lose the oracles. Wow, they all stay alive. The oracles are so important to you being able to keep on revelating lurkers and just having permanent vision. It's kind of crazy to see that not coming to fruition as our lings surround. Yeah, and this base looks as though it's going down. Well, Showtime will just say, okay, cool, I'm just going to take the bases that are given to me across the map then. Let's just play bases for bases. I think Showtime's okay with it. As the lurkers do come back, Scarlett's not as okay with it. Maybe Showtime here can nuke a base and then recall back home. Man, these storms are adding up though. Those lurkers are already very hurt, and Showtime turns into the lurkers. He believes this is a fight he should be taking. He believes he can clean out enough of these to justify it. Both players losing a lot of workers, drones and probes falling alike. Zealots are on the right hand side as well, knocking down this base. Don't forget Showtime lost a base, but maybe he can just get another base up. Showtime, Scarlett still actually has bases alive, so she is able to play off of those still. Guess this hatchery maybe not surviving, but things get here, probably will. 17 new drones build up in an instant. The power of Zerg, able to just replenish in a moment's notice. Again, Showtime's issue is not worker count per se, most of them is just base count. Still like Showtime's army a lot though. In fact, Showtime's army might just be at the point right now where it just wants to send it. But he just says, cool, my army's better. If I commit right now, I'm gonna have a good time. You really are not. So maybe that becomes the plan here from Showtime over these next few minutes. Corruptors still just going after the Nexus. The cannons continue to fight. The Corruptors will just about be going down, getting pushed away. Again, a couple of Vipers coming through. The Corruptors all coming out. +3 melee, +1 carapace, +2 flyer carapace. Upgrades continue across the board from Scarlett, so she brings all of those into life. And just gets more and more Corruptors. There's still a good carry count to be fought off, so the Corruptor count will be important. Only got an 8 so far, +7. I'll do you guys the math live on stream. It's 15 Corruptors that are going to be on the table. Vipers do a bit more consuming, bring themselves up a little bit more energy, get themselves ready to rumble as the Lurkers will fire their down at this ramp towards the Zealot Archon. The Storms are really good again. The Storms have been great throughout. The Vipers have no energy, no HP. Scarlett just gets absolutely wiped. That army of ShoWTimE was good enough. 18 minutes instead of 33.